Welcome back. Ed Martin here in the Pro America Report, starring Julie Kelly. And don't forget, it's the best Twitter handle in the history of the world, @Julie_Kelly2, because there's a lot of @Julie_Kellys. She couldn't get Kelly 1. And her book, she just told me, is coming out in early July, just after the 4th of July. It's called Disloyal Opposition, how the Never Trump right tried and failed to take down the president. Welcome back, Julie. How are you?
You're so dramatic about my Twitter handle. It's really not that bad.
Well, you remember we I forget what the bet was. You promised you'd change it if I won some bet, and then you were an Indian bettor. I didn't catch. Can't say that anymore. But anyway, I know it's not that bad. I'm just trying to get people to remember it. It's the trick.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
All right, Julie. First of all, across the country, and you're up near Chicago, right? You're in the near suburbs of Chicago, or up there. But you're seeing everything that's going on. How do you assess? And you've got the unique positioning. You're a mom. You got two daughters, I think, and you're a writer. You can see this. Where are we in this kind of crisis of violence and rioting? What are you feeling right now?
I mean, I have a piece up today at American Greatness, amgreatness.com, which I argue against the use of military in these democratically run, democratically populated urban centers that are in complete chaos, because just what we saw with coronavirus, you have Democratic leaders who are never prepared, who are cowardly, who have no plan, but yet when things go sideways, who do they blame? They blame Donald Trump. So what we're seeing now is more clarification that Democrats are completely unfit to lead. They are hostile to American values. They share a lot of the same worldview that these protesters do, both Black Lives Matter and Antifa. And so you're seeing just a continuing unraveling and disintegration of these once great cities, like, my city of Chicago, and you see what's happening in D.C. So, I mean, it's just more evidence that Democrats are completely unfit to lead or govern.
But Julie, at a certain point, if they can't control it, I mean, I think you won the point. I mean, I think you're right. 3 days later, they looted Macy's last night, and Bill de Blasio stood around saying, "We got things under control. It's going great. We're going to be fine." They looted Macy's. Like, they didn't sneak up on it and steal a hot dog cart from down in the by Wall Street. They looted Macy's, and at a certain point, don't we have to do something to just say, okay? And I think the country realizes those policies, but it's just too out of hand. When does it stop then?
It stops when the people of New York City and the leadership outside of their completely incompetent, clueless mayor, Bill de Blasio, followed not far behind from their clueless, incompetent governor, Andrew Cuomo. When the people of New York City figure out a way to defend their own city, when the police start to defy orders to stand down and not live up to the oath that they have taken, and the people and property that they want to protect, once they rise up to defend their own city, clean up their own city, and rout these looters and rioters out of their own city, then maybe we can call in the U.S. military to help them. Until that time, there is no reason, and obviously I feel very passionate about this, there is no reason for one Marine, one Army soldier to go into Manhattan or anywhere else to defend what their own residents won't defend. I'm tired of this from New York City. I'm going to tell you what, we shut down this whole country because of the incompetence of New York City management, their mayor, and their governor. We shut down this entire country because of them. And now we're supposed to go rescue them again? No. Figure it out on your own. And if your city burns down, you did it to yourselves. We're not going to rescue you once again.
We're talking with Julie Kelly, who she seems kind of mad, and this column is at Am. She's so nice. She's such a sweet lady, but she's really amgreatness.com. I'll put this up on social media, but I certainly. I see the direction. I get it, and actually, you're very convincing. And the piece you wrote is very convincing, Julie. Let me ask you the next question, though. I'll just tell you my opinion. I just don't know what to do. Like, when I see that they're looting and all, and they killed this retired captain in St. Louis, and I think, if you're so incompetent you can't control it, which is what it looks like, somebody's got to. And I think ultimately the American people, expect somebody to be in charge. But I want to slide over to your book, Disloyal Opposition, because I want to ask you a bunch of the stars of your book, Disloyal Opposition, how the Never Trump right tried and failed to take down the president, are doing this. What is it, like the Lincoln Club or something? And they're running like 10 seconds of ads and claiming this and that. Tell me about where some of the stars of your book are and what they're doing right now in terms of these things.
Right. So the Lincoln Project, one of the, I'm not even going to use the word, one of the men who has to be paid to perform certain duties, otherwise he will be out of a job, Rick Wilson, is with the Lincoln Project. And so my suspicion is that the Lincoln Project is funded by the same people who have been funding Never Trump projects, which I've written about, the founder of eBay. Now, I don't know this for a fact, that they're funding the Lincoln Project. But I do know that a lot of leftists, millions of dollars from leftist billionaires, tech tycoons, are flowing into the coffers of Never Trump alleged conservative projects to, look, this is beyond taking down Donald Trump. They want to destroy this country. And the Never Trump right is no better. In fact, I would argue they are worse than the left because they've been frauds for the last few decades, pretending to be conservatives and Republicans, making their livelihood and living off of the Republican Party. They've completely betrayed the people who boosted their careers and bought their books and went to their fundraisers and everything else, but, bought their magazines like Bill Kristol. They completely turned on the people who supported them for decades. And so that is really what I detail in my book. And unfortunately went to print before I could call them out for coronavirus handling. And now this, unfolding disaster. But that will lead me to a sequel, so that's not a bad thing.
I was just going to say that could be your next one. It looks like there'll be a next term. So, all right, I want to ask you about Ben Sasse. Does he appear in your book? Because now Ben Sasse is going for the mainstream lie that the president wants to go take a walk in the park and go to this church, and somehow that's the end of the world. As you point out on your Twitter feed, Joe Biden goes into a church pulpit in front of the cross and the Bible and lies, and nobody says anything. They say, "Isn't this unbelievable? He can actually get out of his basement." But Ben Sasse now is falling for it and complaining. And is he in the book? Is he a star of the book?
He makes a few appearances. Ben Sasse is one of the, he's almost worse than Mitt Romney because Mitt Romney at least doesn't try to disguise his contempt for the president. Ben Sasse goes back and forth. He was going to run against the president, then he wasn't. Then he voted with the president because he's up for re-election this year. Ben Sasse is representative of the kind of Republican that is not welcome in the Republican Party really anymore, because the minute that the left and the media gives him a little bit of attention, a little catnip, he jumps on it. He never has his facts straight. And he, issues this lofty, morally superior statement about the Word of God. No one should politicize it. Okay, now I'm going to wait for you to take on the several pictures I posted on my Twitter account today of Joe Biden not only preaching in front of in a church, in a historical black church in Delaware, lying and using props and bending his knee in front of an altar with black ministers and I assume congregants standing behind him. Talk about politicizing. Talk about sucking up and doing anything you can for a photo op. Far worse than what Donald Trump did yesterday.
It is amazing to see. It's amazing to watch. All right, I got to run, Julie. As always, thank you. It goes so fast. Julie Kelly, and don't forget to her book will be out on. Did you say July 7th? Is that what you said, Julie?
July 7th. Yes.
July 7th. So get yourself. You can pre-order wherever they have books, and I got a pre-publication copy, so I've been able to read it. It's really cool. It's very good, and it does. There's enough action. There'll be enough from this year and next year, next term. You'll be able to write a sequel for sure. So thanks very much, Julie. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ed.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, and don't forget, you can always go over to proamericareport.com. All these segments, you can see this discussion with Julie Kelly, and all the links, we'll put them up there. So go over to proamericareport.com and follow it there. And we'll take a quick break and be right back. It's Ed Martin here on the Pro America Report. Be back in a minute.